Now on Nightside, Hurricane Ian is making its way towards South Carolina. We show you the damage and the rescues tonight in Florida. And Chris Crocker will have your forecast after a day of rain and breaking some records.
Plus, Camp Hope is being cleaned up for new fencing, what it could mean for safety at the camp. You're watching 4 News Now, Nightside. We start tonight with breaking news. Just before 9 o'clock tonight, Spokane police swarmed a home on West Northwest Boulevard, demanding the people inside surrender to officers. Thanks for staying up with us. I'm Kirsten O'Connor.
And I'm Aaron Luna. Police blocked off Northwest in both directions. They used a bullhorn to tell the people inside they weren't going anywhere. This is video of the first person leaving that home, hands on their head. Minutes after the arrest, police set off a flashbang and told a second person they knew they were in the basement and to come out with their hands up.
A police lieutenant tells us that the Spokane Violent Crimes Task Force arrested a man and a woman on a Department of Corrections warrant, and that the man has an extensive history of violent crime and weapons possession. We'll keep you updated just as soon as we learn more.
Hurricane Ian is moving back into warm waters, forecast to crash back ashore in South Carolina tomorrow. The storm killing more than 12 people so far. Those numbers are expected to climb.
President Biden has approved a major disaster declaration for the entire state, opening federal funding to support with recovery efforts. New on Nightside, Morgan Norwood reports.
The massive destruction in Florida following Hurricane Ian coming into clearer focus.
Look at the water line at the ceiling.
At the top, yeah.
The storm making history, hitting southwest Florida as a Category 4 hurricane, one of the most powerful storms to ever make landfall here. Boats thrown onto dry land, entire neighborhoods underwater in Fort Myers. Fort Myers Beach leveled, the pier gone.
I just got back from surveying the damage in Charlotte and Lee counties, and some of the damage was almost indescribable. Some of the homes were wiped out, and some of it was just concrete slabs.
The Sanibel Causeway washed away, cutting the island off to the mainland.
You can see a huge chunk of it collapsed, got washed away during the storm. Now the only way to get to people who are still on the island, boat or helicopter.
Rescues now underway on the island. Further north in Orlando, a nursing home evacuated amid the floods.
Are you guys okay?
Search and rescue teams fanning out. FEMA personnel deployed.
These are very challenging circumstances for our rescuers, very dangerous circumstances. They're dealing with high water, cities that don't look like cities anymore.
The damage in some areas catastrophic.
In this neighborhood alone, there are hundreds of homes. You can see from our drone there that each of these took on at least 12 feet of water. They are all total losses.
The president speaking on the enormous human toll in Florida and the real fear that the toll could rise dramatically.
This could be the deadliest hurricane in Florida's history. The numbers are still unclear, but we're hearing early reports of what may be substantial loss of life.
And Ian is now a hurricane once again. The Category 1 storm now eyeing South Carolina. Landfall there expected on Friday. I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Tampa, Florida.
Well, more than 500 Red Cross disaster workers are on the ground in Florida.
Some of those volunteers are from Eastern Washington. The Red Cross of the Greater Inland Northwest is sending volunteers to help. They're expected to be there for months. One Medical Lake woman with the Red Cross says she already knows she'll be away for Thanksgiving, probably Christmas as well. She says it's worth it to help those who have lost almost everything.
Just to help. I mean, they just had their whole lives upended or wiped away, and they just need a helping hand, and whatever I can do to make that a little easier for them, I'm willing to do it.
Red Cross officials say monetary donations are the best way to help. Other donations take time to get sorted, cleaned, and shipped to the disaster area, which can get expensive.
And a communication squadron from the Washington Air National Guard from Fairchild Air Force Base is now heading to Florida to help with recovery efforts as well. Late this afternoon, the 242nd Combat Communication Squadron was activated. The 4-man crew will help deploy Starlink satellite communication terminals. The Starlink internet network was used in rural Washington locations during the 2020 wildfire season. The inland Northwest has been seeing a little bit of rain, a lot for our region compared to what we've seen over the last few weeks.
Yeah, we definitely saw more than usual. We broke a record today. Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker in the studio tonight with your forecast. Chris.
It doesn't look like much compared to what we're seeing from Hurricane Ian, but we did have almost a half-inch in Spokane. That is a new daily record. Our previous record was 4,400 hundredths. It's the most rain we've had since early June. It is also more rain than we had in August and July combined. Meanwhile, the showers have really tapered off. We do still have a few sprinkles in parts of Spokane County and down into the Washington Palouse. Let's go back and take a broader view on our radar. Most of the wet weather has moved south of the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area, but we'll keep a chance of rain in North Idaho through the overnight and into early tomorrow morning. Our temperatures right now are in the 50s in most locations. It's 54 in Spokane, 52 in Coeur d'Alene. We haven't cooled down much from our highs today. It has been a cool day across the region. 55 in downtown and Spokane Valley right now. It's 52 in Spirit Lake and 53 right now in Spangle. In your forecast for tomorrow, we'll start the day off with some clouds and fog, but then clearing as we get into the afternoon. Should have a fair amount of sunshine by tomorrow late afternoon and a high temperature of 69 degrees, back up around average, and then we're headed to above average temperatures for the weekend. I'll tell you all about that in just a few minutes. Aaron?
Chris, thank you. Spokane police and federal agents raided the Hells Angels Clubhouse on East Sprague. The only thing they would tell us, they were serving a search warrant. The motorcycle club has a history of run-ins with law enforcement in Spokane. In 2011, one person was arrested during a raid that uncovered half a dozen loaded weapons and marijuana. We also reported on a shooting outside of the club back in 2015. As we learn more about this raid, we'll keep you up to date here on KXLY and our website, KXLY.com.
Excavators at Camp Hope. The Department of Transportation says they're making room for a fence there. It's supposed to go up this week, but there's a lot that needs to happen first. Excavators are clearing out piles of pallets and other fire hazards from around the camp, and this will help make room for the fence to be put in. Camp managers say the new fence should make the area safer, and it also means a curfew will be starting, and people living there will have rules. If people aren't happy with the changes, they'll be asked to leave.
This is no longer the Wild West of homeless services, which homeless camps tend to be.
This is the first step to secure the site so outreach providers can move people out of the camp and into housing.
Recovery efforts continue just off Whidbey Island for parts of the seaplane that crashed earlier this month. 10 people died in that crash. Today, crews recovered the engine. You can see that right here. Since the plane was found at the bottom of the Puget Sound, crews had to bring in special equipment, like the one you see on the other side of this screen, to help with that could withstand those strong currents and increased pressure. As of now, federal aviation investigators have not released what caused this crash.
Well, anyone driving through downtown Spokane tomorrow morning will want to avoid Spokane Falls Boulevard. It's going to be closed between Monroe and Wall Street until at least 2 in the afternoon. Crews are dismantling this crane, and you can still get into the parking garages at River Park Square and the Central Library.
A new scam alert to warn you about tonight, coming straight from the IRS. Scammers are now texting people claiming to be from the IRS, offering bogus offers like COVID relief, tax credits, or links to set up an account online. These phishing website links are being sent to hundreds of thousands of people across the nation. The IRS does not send emails or texts asking for personal information or financial information or account numbers. If you get a scam text, just block the number or delete it. Do not click on any of the links that they send. Coming up next on 4 News Now, a Kootenai County polling location has been changed.
Why voters say they didn't feel safe inside a church. And coming up, we show you some heroic acts out of Hurricane Ian's devastation.
And how artificial intelligence is playing a role in protecting homes from wildfires. Nightside will be right back.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
4 News Now is brought to you by Wendell Motors. There's There's never been a better time to get the luxurious quality and refined style you envision for your home. During National Karastan Month, receive up to a $1,000 rebate on beautiful Karastan carpets.
Save up to $1,000 on Karastan flooring at Sandpoint Furniture, Carpet One.
Democrats in Washington are threatening our way of life. Reckless spending fueling inflation. Shutting down energy production here at home. A push to defund the police. Kathy McMorris Rogers is fighting every day to stop them and protect Eastern Washington. Cutting spending to curb inflation. Unleashing American energy production. And making sure law enforcement has the resources they need. Kathy McMorris Rogers, our voice.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
New tonight, Kimmel's in Brooklyn.
We decided we're going to go out and do something that you can only do in New York. We spent $700 on 2 days worth of groceries and then carried them up 6 flights of stairs.
Plus, Ben Stiller and a very special guest. Jimmy Kimmel Live from Brooklyn, new tonight on ABC. 4 News Now welcomes Kirsten O'Connor. You expect more from local news. Important information that makes a difference to you. Kirsten O'Connor delivers. And that's what we mean when we say, expect more. Get to know Kirsten, weeknights on 4 News Now.
My husband has diabetes.
Even with health insurance, we're having a hard time affording our medications.
Thankfully, we have Patty Murray fighting for us in the U.S. Senate. She kept at it till Congress finally lowered the cost of prescription drugs.
And capped insulin for seniors at $35 a month.
Now we'll save thousands every year. We know when Patty is back in the other Washington.
She is working for us.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
There's never been a better time to get the luxurious quality and refined style you envision for your home. During National Karastan Month, receive up to a $1,000 rebate on beautiful Karastan carpets.
Save up to $1,000 on Karastan flooring at Sandpoint Furniture, Carpet One.
4 News Now is brought to you by Albrecht Law.
Thanks for staying with Nightside. As Hurricane Ian moves towards South Carolina, rescue crews are in Florida tonight. This is video taken from Orange County, Florida, where some elderly patients were rescued from a care facility. That's not the only one.
And that is right where I used to work. I was there just 4 months ago. And oftentimes in these situations, you hear, look for the helpers. New on Nightside, ABC's Rob Marciano shares just a few of them.
Catastrophic.
Are you guys okay?
And devastating. Hurricane Ian ravaging southwest Florida, leaving behind submerged neighborhoods and millions left in the dark.
2 people requesting rescue, water over their head.
The high water levels prompting desperate rescue calls in Lee County.
Caller reporting a sinking vehicle, unknown if he's breathing. Caller disconnected.
In Fort Myers Beach, Joe Orlandini and his family bunkering down on the 3rd floor of his home after water levels climbed the 2 floors below.
We weren't prepared for quite a storm of this magnitude. We were hoping it would dodge us. It didn't. It got worse.
Outside Orlandini's window, mountains of debris from decimated homes collecting in the flood.
And there's a bed. I can see, there's doors.
This entire home ripped from its foundation. And in Naples, Kimberly Walker telling ABC News about the moments water began to seep into her home.
The water got to be a lot more and a lot more and a lot more. And it was just, it didn't matter what you did. The water started coming into my home, reaching about mid-thigh. I knew I had to get out.
Walker and her dog forced to swim across the street to a neighbor's home.
The center was probably about up to here and running really fast. You can wash your clothes, but I can't replace my dog or my life, so.
Oh my goodness, just terrible scenes, and I will have the 11 o'clock update on Ian in just a few minutes after we talk about our local weather. Here's a look at our time lapse. It's been nothing but pretty sunsets for days and days and days. It's kind of nice to see some rain and clouds and fog on the time lapse today. We are going to be drying out tonight. Just a few sprinkles left in our forecast. 49 for a low, 69 tomorrow. The clouds will be decreasing, particularly as we get into the afternoon. Expect some afternoon sunshine. Area of low pressure. We're getting some precipitation wrapping around the back end of that, but it's moving off to the south and east through the day on Friday. Then we have high pressure building in from the west, and that is taking control for the weekend. We've got a warming and drying trend with above average temperatures. Another fantastic weekend. Here's our forecast radar starting off at the current time. We still have have a few more showers to work their way through North Idaho, staying dry in eastern Washington. Then we begin clearing off as we get into the afternoon, possibly a few mountain showers in the central panhandle, but otherwise expect clearing skies and dry conditions for the next several days. Overnight lows tonight will be down in the 40s and 50s. High temperatures tomorrow in the 60s and 70s. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Heading up to a high of 69 tomorrow. Then we're into the 70s for Saturday and Sunday. Looks like we may be talking 80s as we get into the middle of next week with dry conditions through the next 7 days. But cold weather is coming, and that is why we are collecting our coats for kids now. We are doing it again this year. We'll be collecting coats through the entire month of October. We're going to get them cleaned at Alsco and then into the hands of kids who need them just in time for winter. If you would like more information on where you can drop off coats, go to kxly.com/coats for kids. But remember, any Safeway or Albertsons, Great Floors, Global Credit Union, Jewelry Design Center, also many of the local schools participating as well. Kirsten?
Thank you, Chris. A member of the Gonzaga men's basketball team has been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Freshman guard Miles Rice released a statement saying, in part, "I will beat this heinous disease and will use my success to be a positive inspiration and an uplifting testimony for others." And of course, we need to issue a retraction there. He is not a part of the Gonzaga team. He is a Cougar. Well, we are now 6 weeks away from Election Day, and tonight we're learning that one polling place in Kootenai County is now tentatively relocated at the voters' request.
It's a church whose political activities have voters feeling uncomfortable. Kootenai County Commissioner Bill Brooks tells 4 News Now they received complaints about this congregation, one of which was how they publicly endorsed Idaho's Lieutenant Governor Janice McGeehan during a service. Voters told commissioners that made them question if the voting site was a neutral location. The Board of Commissioners agreed to tentatively change the polling location, but one commissioner says there's not enough information to justify that decision.
They should be neutral insofar as reasonably practicable. No one should feel threatened. My question is, have they ever, and did they ever, in any way, shape, or form, make anybody coming to that polling place afraid enough that they wouldn't vote, or kept them away? Do we have any polling information that shows that the number of ballots cast there is significantly lower than any other place? And the answer is we do not.
Commissioner Brooks says he expects the commissioners to reevaluate this decision next Tuesday.
Congress is rushing to avoid a federal government shutdown. Both chambers have to pass a funding bill, and the president has to sign it by a Friday deadline. The good news is both parties seem optimistic.
Let's work fast to finish the process here on the floor, send a CR to the House, and then send it to the president's desk.
72 senators supported a proposal during a procedural vote Tuesday, but negotiations have continued right up until the final hours, and it's been a pattern in recent years. Even if lawmakers pass the current plan, they'll only fund the government until December 16th.
New on Nightside, Johnson & Johnson splitting into two companies next year, keeping some brands and putting others under Kenvue, which will have consumer health products like Band-Aids, Tylenol, baby powder. J&J will keep the medical devices and medications. As for the name Kenvue, the company says Ken is an English word for knowledge, primarily used in Scotland, and view references sight.
It's been 8 years since the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge took over the internet. I'm sure you remember it. And today the FDA approved a new therapy for ALS that would have never been approved if it wasn't for the study that the challenge helped fund. The drug made by Amlex Pharmaceuticals has been shown to slow devastating paralysis caused by Lou Gehrig's disease. The therapy is still considered experimental. The FDA approved it without a large-scale clinical trial because the drug has been shown to be safe despite questions about its effectiveness. Patients, advocacy groups and physicians urge the FDA to approve it quickly because there are very few other options to treat this life-threatening disease.
Multicare in Spokane is looking for 250 older patients to help test a new clinical vaccine. We're not talking about COVID. RSV is a cold-like virus most people associate with babies and little ones. But according to the CDC, about 14,000 older people die from RSV complications every year.
You know, I find that my older patients are generally pretty excited about new vaccines, you know, because they get health problems and they want to be safe, and they realize that things tend to hit them more severely than when they're young. So, you know, I tend to find my older patients' uptake on vaccines is pretty high compared to the younger crowd at times.
To be part of the trial, you should be 65 years of age or older. Once the data is collected, it'll be forwarded to the FDA. If you want to sign up for that trial, we have a link on our website, KXLY.com.
Well, Google unveiled an option that allows users to request to exclude personal information from online search results. This feature is called Results About You, and it focuses on keeping pages containing emails, personal phone numbers, and home addresses from Google searches. Google officials say when they receive a request, they will evaluate the content on the web page and decide whether the page should be excluded from searches. The company admits that even if a page is removed from its search results, it will still be online. So next year, Google plans to have a new option available that would send alerts to users when new search results come up with contact information. T-Mobile is using new technology to detect wildfires. We'll show you how AI is involved coming up. Nightside will be right back.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
There's never been a better time to get the luxurious quality and refined style you envision for your home. During National Keristan Month, receive up to a $1,000 rebate on beautiful Keristan carpets.
Save up to $1,000 on Keristan flooring at Panhandle Carpet One.
Our very best savings have been extended during the Labor Day sale at More Furniture.
Everyone knows More is synonymous with incredible style at the best values. But our Labor Day sale offers a special opportunity to save big, and we're extending the sale for an additional week.
Our latest collections have arrived, and they're all on sale.
Our best sellers are in stock, and they're all on sale.
It's the best time of year to save and get your home ready for fall entertaining.
Check out morefurniture.com to view all extended sales specials.
Some days your body is a temple, and some days the temple wants sugar. You might relieve stress naturally on Monday and plan for it on Tuesday. Because being human isn't always so fries or salad. Sometimes it's both. So relax with essential oils or a glass of Cab. Fall asleep with melatonin and wake up to caffeine. With traditional medicine and alternative remedies, there's no wrong way to treat life at Rite Aid. And now get your flu shot with easy scheduling, fast appointments, plus walk-ins available daily.
Thanks to Joe Biden, food, fuel, everything costs too much. His energy policies and massive spending spree are driving skyrocketing prices, fueling the worst inflation in decades. 2 years ago, we were a self-sufficient, energy-independent, energy-exporting nation. Today, our energy production has been crippled. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message. Let's stop the spending free-for-all, let loose American energy, and fix inflation.
There's never been a better time to get the luxurious quality and refined style you envision for your home. During National Keristan Month, receive up to a $1,000 rebate on beautiful Keristan carpets.
Save up to $1,000 on Keristan flooring at Panhandle Carpet One.
4 News Now is brought to you by Everhart Painting.
Checking the latest on Hurricane Ian as the pictures continue to come in from Florida, and I'm sure tomorrow we are going to hear many more tales of the devastation left behind, but it's not done with the problems it's causing as it continues to pull away from Florida and make its way up the East Coast now as a Category 1 hurricane. It has strengthened just this evening. Still a Category 1 storm, but now sustained sustained winds at 85 miles per hour. Here is the latest update as of 11 o'clock our time. It is making its way to the northwest. The projected path right now takes it over the South Carolina coast midday tomorrow as a Category 1 hurricane right between Charleston and Myrtle Beach. That area right in there is the projected path currently. Life-threatening storm surge, hurricane force winds, and of course that devastating flooding, all a big concern along the coast as Ian continues to wreak havoc. Meanwhile, I have a photo for you of a very tranquil sky and scene from the Rathdrum Prairie. Terry Anderson up bright and earlier this week to capture these alto cumulus clouds in the early morning sun. I absolutely love this picture, just gorgeous. Worth getting up early for, Terry. Thank you so much for sharing your little piece of North Idaho with us. Kirsten?
That is something else. What a gorgeous picture. Thanks, Chris. Some new technology is being used to detect wildfires just as soon as they erupt.
A startup company has partnered with T-Mobile's 5G network to alert first responders of new incidents, and that could help save lives and land. New on Nightside, Erica Zucco has the story.
The recent Bolt Creek fire is the reminder of the rugged terrain where wildfires often spark, often hard to reach, and sometimes tough to spot.
Wildfires don't happen in metro areas, they happen in remote areas.
John Saw is the executive vice president of advanced and emerging tech at T-Mobile. Some of their towers are now home to cameras searching for signs of smoke or flames.
When you fight fires, every minute counts.
These 360-degree cameras designed by Pano AI use artificial intelligence to identify fires and notify agencies.
The first responders get a live video feed of the fire pushed to their phones or pushed to their email, and they can share that incident feed with other agencies.
Agencies in 5 states are using the technology: California, Oregon, Montana, Idaho, and Colorado.
Clicking on, you can see the smoke column.
In Colorado, firefighters say the tool is helping them navigate a growing number of fires with faster winds.
What happens is we get a report of a smoke call.
Pano AI says it uses the same kind of AI used in many home security cameras and relies on a 5G network, which T-Mobile says delivers live video faster than past technology could.
So we can get this information to the AI system a lot faster, almost real time.
Tonight, we're doing it Brooklyn style.
Ella texted me, said, my friend just found your friend Owen Wilson's wallet. So I texted Owen, and I said, hey, if you want your wallet back, text me right away. And then like 5 minutes later, I get a text back. Wow.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
More Americans choose ABC News, America's #1 news source.
What happened to Sherry Papini?
Sherry Papini. Now, newly released, her call for help. Please. Video inside the interrogation room.
I didn't do anything wrong.
You're not telling the truth. And her dramatic police interview.
This is very weird for me because I know that you know everything.
But what don't you know?
There's still one piece of this crazy puzzle.
What are the chances?
The 2020 event special, Friday night at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Here at the Meade School District, energy management has been something that's been on the rise as far as what's important to us. The reason why is, as the budget continues to shrink, we need to do more with less. Yeah, I love Avista. They've been really great to work with. When I have energy efficiency ideas, I get in touch with my rep. They'll go back to their project managers and to the engineers. Avista does a really great job at telling you what the simple payback will be of any of the projects, and then you can make an educated decision on whether you want to move forward.
My son's name was Carson. He was just the light of my life.
His anxiety and his inability to sleep caused him to purchase a pill from Snapchat, and we know that it's what killed him. Congresswoman McMorris Rodgers is bringing awareness to this. She personally reached out to me. She took the time to hear Carson's story. She has been driven in trying to prevent further loss.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rodgers, and I approve this message.
6 Republican-led states are now suing the Biden administration to try and block the president's student loan forgiveness plan. Biden's plan forgives $10,000 in federal student loans for borrowers who earn less than $125,000 a year, and up to $20,000 for those who also received federal Pell Grants. The suit claims Biden's executive order is not tailored to address the effects of the pandemic on federal student loan borrowers, which is required by the 2003 federal law the administration is using as legal justification, pointing to a recent interview with CBS's 60 Minutes where he declared the pandemic over. The lead attorney saying, quote, "It's patently unfair to saddle hardworking Americans with the loan debt of those who chose to go to college," end quote. This is at least the second lawsuit this week trying to block the president's plan.
And while these cases play out in court, the Biden administration is already sending out emails explaining how the program works. Sometime next month, the Department of Education will unveil an online application for debt relief. And they also warn those who apply to be cautious of scams trying to take advantage of the situation. Borrowers will not have to pay federal income tax on the student loan debt forgiven, but there are a handful of states that may tax discharge debt if changes are not made.
Well, no wonder dogs have earned the title of man's best friend.
Yeah, a new study says canines seem to have the ability to know when people are stressed. My dog tends to stress me out further when he sees that I'm stressed. But according to an article published in the Plus One journal, dogs appear to be able to smell when someone is stressed. Previous studies have already confirmed dogs can tell when a person is scared or happy. So for this round of research, those competing scents were eliminated. And the findings are based on 36 people whose samples were collected during and after performing a task. The dogs got the right emotion nearly 94% of the time. Wow.
Yeah, they can tell when you're stressed, but then the reaction has to be trained.
Like that.
Like that.
Sweet.
Just look
and
away and be
kind.
nice.
Nightside will be right back.
Download the 4 News Now app today. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
I met Anidas 10 years ago. He didn't have bad credit, but he just had no credit to begin with. I took the time to really go over some options with him. Fast forward 10 years down the road, he's got his business account with Numerica. And he's looking to buy his second home also with Numerica.
Pergo Elements Wet Protect. The right kind of waterproof. Pergo Elements.
Come see us at Floor and Home.
Let us help create your space.
The Inland Empire 6. 6 local Honda dealerships dedicated to putting your Keister in a Honda. And your Keister will thank you for it because it'll be riding in comfort, style, and America's most fuel-efficient full-line automaker. And that can save your Keister at the gas pumps. Not to mention every Honda is packed with high-tech safety features that keep all your little Keisters safe and happy. See your local Honda dealer today. Honda gets the Inland Northwest.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. But one day, this farmer will use augmented reality to help ensure the best yield. Urban planners will model traffic solutions to help decrease commute times. Exploring a spacecraft in a museum is one thing. But one day, the metaverse will help students learn about the rings of Saturn. The metaverse may be virtual, but the impact will be real.
Pergo Elements Wet Protect. The right kind of waterproof. Pergo Elements.
Come see us at Floor and Home.
Let us help create your space.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
Here's your camping forecast. Have not been to Settlemyre's Resorts on Spirit Lake, but Mark Peterson put this together for this week. 73 and sunshine.
A move over charcuterie board, a new TikTok trend has taken over. It's called butter boards. The whole concept is literally boards slathered with butter and who knows what sprinkled in. Flaky salt, red pepper flakes, roasted garlic. And then everyone is supposed to just dig in. They'll have sliced bread. You know, I will say, I think it was like a couple months ago, Four Eyed Guys Brewery, just up the street from us, had a butter board. They were ahead of the game, the whole head of the trend.
Maybe they started the trend.
Four Eyed Guys started the trend.
I want one. Can I get one there?
Go up the street. Maybe you had to double check. It was a while ago.